Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host right over there.
What's up? It's Dee. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Today we're breaking down the AP Top 25, giving our thoughts on the rankings and the upcoming matchups. So at the top here, Ohio State, Penn State, no surprises there. LSU in the third spot. Oregon and Miami rounds out the top five. What stands out most to you just quickly in this top five?
I get putting Penn State up there. Penn State also hasn't done anything yet, so why do we have them ranked so high?
I mean, they started pretty high, so.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, cool. But if we're going based off of like what you've done this season, then LSU has a better win. Then Oregon at least has played a Power 5 team. Miami also has a better win than Penn State. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, Miami has a really exciting matchup with South Florida this week. Looking forward to that one.
Oh, the biggest in this of the top five, the biggest game has to be LSU, Florida. That's going to be an awesome game. I know we already talked about that in our previous video, but I think, yeah, LSU wins big.
Oh, it's huge. I think the spread was 9. LSU favored by 9 points. I'd go way more than that. I think LSU it's gonna be a huge blowout for them. Georgia going down 2 spots to the 6th. They got Tennessee this week. Texas at the 7th spot. We got Notre Dame, Illinois, and Florida State jumping into the top 10. How you feel about that?
This matchup, Georgia, Tennessee, this is going to be a big time matchup. I am licking my chops to get to this. One thing that does suck, though, Tennessee is going to be missing both of their starting corners in this game. So that's a tough blow for Tennessee. But Tennessee's looking good on defense despite that. Tennessee's looking good. Joey Aguilar won the transfer portal lottery getting Tennessee. He was going to go to UCLA. It was probably going to look bad. Instead, he gets to go to Tennessee and look amazing. I'm pumped for this. I think, and then Georgia is no slouch. Yeah, they go down 2 spots, but it's only because they haven't played anybody and they've just been gearing up for this Tennessee game. This is going to be an awesome, awesome game on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking for a huge prove it game for Tennessee. Like, how good is Tennessee going to be this year? We're gonna find out very fast against this Georgia team. Texas, I'm just looking forward to seeing more of Arch throw the ball. How good is he going to be? And I know it's just UTEP, but at the end of the day, I just want to see him throw the ball. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Did that give you any juice? That I know you're a big Texas A&M guy. How are you feeling about this?
You've got to, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you've got to be concerned. You've got to be a little bit worried as far as what is the game plan? What is going to be our identity moving forward? And Mike Elko and this Tennessee team, or in this Texas A&M team, they are going to test you. They are going to ask you, hey, what do you do good? Beat us at it. And I mean, you've got to be concerned, but also Carr looked good. Your quarterback looked good. He wasn't the reason that you lost. So I know a lot of people had a big question mark there. You are going to be facing a tough Texas A&M defense. I think that's a matchup that I'm pretty concerned about. There's no reason Texas should be over Florida State. There's no reason for that. I think Florida State should be way higher in this list. I would put them at like 5. They go out there, they beat Bama, then they run up the score on whoever state. Yeah, like Florida State looks awesome. I get that right now they have a bye week, but I feel like as we continue to go on, I think next week they're only going to rise. This is a Florida State team that I don't see 9 other teams in the entire nation better than this Florida State team.
They're definitely rolling so far. I want to talk about 2 games that basically aren't the marquee big name matchups like a Georgia Tennessee, but in the 11 and 12 spot here, South Carolina Vandy and then Clemson Georgia Tech. Really interesting games. I'm really high on South Carolina. I think they can make the playoff this year. You are going Vandy here.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's going to whoop that ass. So I think, I am so pumped that you brought up both of these games. These are both games that I am so excited for. South Carolina, Vanderbilt, there is a common opponent in them in Virginia Tech. South Carolina needed their special teams and their defense to really pull forward to end up pulling away from this game. And that's what you do if you're a good team. You find ways to win. Vanderbilt, in the second half, they beat the dog piss out of Virginia Tech. They gained them by over 300 yards. That is insane. Honestly, Vanderbilt is the underdog in this game. I think Vanderbilt takes it, and I don't. I'm not as high on South Carolina. I think that they are going to. Everyone was hyping up this offseason. I think that Lenore Sellers is a great talent. I think that he is a good player. Him and Dylan Stewart obviously are two marquee guys. I don't think that they're a great team, so I'm going Vanderbilt on this one. And Clemson versus Georgia Tech. What is Clemson doing? They had to come back from down 17 to Troy, and now
Yeah,
you're going at
a huge "Who are you, Clemson" game this week.
big time now. And Georgia Tech is probably licking their lips thinking, oh man, we are so excited to get this Clemson team right now. We are so excited because we see weakness. We smell blood in the water and we're going to go for it. Honestly, this is a fun matchup.
Yeah, and moving down the list, we have Oklahoma 13, Iowa State 14, Tennessee in that matchup with Georgia at 15, A&M in that matchup with Notre Dame. Then we get down to 17, 18, 19, 20. We got Ole Miss, USF, Bama, and Utah. All of these teams I think are really interesting this year. Who do you want to? Who stands out the most to you right now? Because I know you're big on USF and you don't feel great about Bama.
Yeah, hold on. Could you scroll up a little bit? Because I want to talk, not Iowa State, up one. Oklahoma, baby. The levels of back Oklahoma is. John Mateer is a straight up dog. He was doing it in the air. He was doing it on the feet. Yeah, I get people were saying like, hey, we got to pump the brakes on Oklahoma. Yeah, they're doing a lot, but it is all through John Mateer. That defense was also flying around, zipping around. I think Oklahoma, I feel comfortable saying Oklahoma's back. They looked good in that Michigan game, but you got to keep it up. Yeah, you're going against Temple this week. You got to keep up excitement, but man, you've got to be excited for this Oklahoma Sooners team.
Living up to the hype.
Yeah. And then going down, yeah, you're 100% right. I think South Florida should be higher in this rankings. I want to say they're the only team in the nation that has 2 ranked wins. They beat a Boise State team that was the odds on favorite to be the group of 5 representative for the playoff. And then they go out there and beat Florida. I think that, just those 2 feathers in their cap, you should have them ranked higher. And there's no reason Alabama have some goddamn shame, AP voters. You're insane. There are probably 35 teams better than Bama right now. This is crazy.
Is Bama on upset alert against this Wisconsin team this week?
Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they look bad. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was a closer game than people expect. But this is a bad Wisconsin team to begin with. So, yeah, like I don't think it's. I don't think realistically nothing Bama does is going to impress me. You are going to have to now do it against in-conference opponents, and we'll figure it out from there. Once you start conference play, that is when your season starts. Anything you do, you go out there and you beat the hell out of Wisconsin this week. Cool. It doesn't change my mind about you.
And a couple of Big 12 schools here at 2021, Utah and Texas Tech. Texas Tech getting a lot of that hype because of all the recruiting and NIL money. Utah actually looks like they've turned things around after a rough quarterback situation last year. I mean, just tell me how you're feeling about these 2 teams right here.
Devin Dampier. Utah is looking nicey. They are awesome. Honestly, they are for me the number 1 team in the Big 12. I think that they are kind of leaps and bounds. Maybe they're leaps and bounds against every other team in the Big 12. Texas Tech, once they play a real team, we will know a little bit more about them. I think right now we're kind of in the nothing really proves it to me yet phase. I think once they play some conference opponents, we'll start to see what they really are. But Utah, I'm impressed with so far. Then we get into Indiana, Michigan, Auburn, Missouri. I don't think Michigan should be ranked, if I'm going to
I
be
was about to say
honest.
I actually was surprised that Michigan's still ranked.
I think there's more deserving teams that should be ranked. I think realistically, Georgia Tech should be ranked. I think BYU could be in there. I think even if you wanted to put Mississippi State, sneak them in there over that. Like, I just don't think, I think Michigan is about a year away from being true contenders. I think Bryce Underwood, you see flashes of what he can do, but he's obviously not a fully baked, quarterback. The defense is just super, super young. I just don't see it right now as far as them being a top 25 team. Auburn and Missouri both look good. I mean, realistically, we're seeing how good Baylor actually was. And this Auburn team, that Baylor win could continue to age really well for Auburn. And honestly, the loss to Auburn can continue to age well for Baylor as well. I think that this is a team that they have the capability and the talent to be a 9-win squad. Do I think they ultimately end up being a 9-win squad? Probably not, but they have the talent to do it.
Yeah, two SEC teams that I think are more in the middle of the pack, but hopefully are overachieving this year. I'm really high on both of these teams. I don't see them make the playoffs, but I think an 8 or 9 win team is really positive for these programs.
Yeah, and honestly, like I do feel like there could have been more ACC representation. I think Louisville could have been up here. I know SMU just lost, but I mean it was a shootout, so I could see them still being around on this list. But overall, this is a good week coming up. I'm pumped.
And actually, like looking at the top 25 as a whole, I'm like, this is a pretty loaded top 25. I feel like the quality of play in college football this year is just really high.
Oh, exactly. And I was seeing someone talking about it, and they were like, "Hey, there is not going to be a 3-loss team in this playoff this year. There's just no room." I mean, we had talked about it a little bit before. Like, I could see 2 Big 12 teams making it. I could see also like 2 ACC teams making it. And that really shrinks the field for the Big Ten, which I know we were kind of talking about it before. Like, how much representation? I know last year I was like, the ACC, do we really need to represent them? But yeah, like we had to. This year, that's not the case. Like, it's going to be a sprint to the finish line. And there is a bunch of really good teams in the Big 12 and the ACC. And you're going to have some representation there. Like, it is not going to be fair if you put a middle of the pack Big 10 team or a middle of the pack underachieving, doesn't have the record SEC team. So it is going to be super interesting going down the line to see who is going to, as we start to knock each other off in conference play, who stays in the, top 20-ish range and who stays within striking distance.
Well, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and follow along because we're going to be doing this update every week of the college football season.
Later.